Alright, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to talk about R-Type. Now, I know you're probably thinking, which one? There's a billion of them. But the specific ones we're going to look at is R-Type Final. Don't know if me and you guys are familiar with it or not, but there was two of them. One of them, I believe, in 2004 on the PlayStation 2, and the other one in 2021, I believe, on the PlayStation 4. With that big a gap in between the two, there is a massive difference in them. That's mainly the thing me and Jeff are going to talk about today. Instead of trying to cover the whole R-Type franchise, which they go all the way from the Amiga all the way to Game Boy Color to current ones like we're talking about, it's easier just to kind of focus down on the two that are in the final series. Now, in saying that, once you see the video footage we have, you can tell a big difference in the PlayStation 2 one versus the PS4 one. The PS2 was really heavy on the grays and the browns and this really kind of dystopian color palette. It was really weird for that system. If you could think back to it with some of the early Killzone stuff and all that, it was just a very kind of a bleak color palette on the PS2 at the time. And you can definitely see it in the shooter. It's a great game, extremely difficult. I mean, it'll pull your hair out. We left in the footage some of my death scenes where I just died over and over and over. Jeff played it. He had the same kind of results. It's very much one of those games of repetition where you just have to keep going through the stage, figuring out the best way to attack it, all these different elements. It's as much strategy as it is anything. But that's the first one. The second one's a little bit more forgiving as far as, well, hell, every element, really. I mean, it's a more fun. It really doesn't frustrate you quite as much, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It is a fairly simple game, but just how they used everything on it, the color palette, the explosions, the highlights, all of that stuff. They just really used the kind of the HDR capabilities, too, of the PlayStation. They really highlighted those things to make that game look as gorgeous as it does. But I'm kind of going on about it here. I'm going to let Jeff talk about it a little bit now, see how he looks at it versus how I look at it. And then, as usual, we'll show you some gameplay and other things about the other R-Types out there.
So as Matt said, today we're talking about R-Type Final 1 and 2 on the PS2 and PS4 respectively. I've been a big fan of the R-Type series for a long time. Of course, my first foray into the shooter genre was Gradius way back when it came out on the NES, but R-Type came around and it was a welcome addition into the shooter genre, and its many sequels and the different versions of it that I've played have all been really good. And so when Matt showed me this new one on the PS4, I was just, R-Type Final 2, I was blown away by the graphics. And then he got R-Type Final 1 for the PS2, and I was pretty blown away by those graphics. I mean, I had a PS2 a long time ago and sold it for some stupid reason. But anyway, so playing it, I was really impressed with the graphics there. But in preparation for this video, I played R-Type for the Amiga 1200, the Master System, the Game Boy Color, the SNES, and even an arcade version of it. And I didn't play any of the sequels, but, it's all the same. Just fly around, shoot stuff, and try to stay alive. Like he said, it's freaking hard. It's super hard, and that's all you can really say about it. I mean, but it's super fun. You're not going to find a lot of shooters that don't make you just want to just stop playing them after a while, because it's just like, okay, this is just ridiculously hard. The screen's full of bullets and enemies, and it's just not fun. R-Type is actually fun, even though you're getting killed over and over and over and over and over. But I mean, it's now, used to, I thought Gradius was the gold standard of shooters, but I mean, R-Type's easily overtaken it, and I hate to say that, because Gradius, I mean, look at our intro. I put Gradius as the first game you see. But a few scenes later, you see R-Type Final 2 for PS4 in there because it's just so dadgum good looking. So let's check out some footage and then we'll do what we usually do. We'll just give our little commentary on it. Maybe if we can remember to rate it, we'll rate it. And here we go.
R-Type Final. This is a game I've had for quite some time. I absolutely love it, but like we said in the intro, it is a tough one. Just like the creatures you can see here, those things laying in the water, you know, they're like a three-stage little enemies you got to hit several times in several different areas to take them down. And it's just, the game is full of little things like that. The weapons are very different in this game as you would be accustomed to in most R-Type games. A lot of it's insect based for some reason. It's kind of weird, but a lot of little testy type flies and stuff like that that grow on the back of these creatures. This thing is a boss that's just like a, I don't know what it is. It's like a booger hanging off the top of something, but pretty tough game actually.
And here's the, this to me is the classic R-Type stage, because the first time I ever heard of R-Type, it was, you're flying around a gigantic ship, like the gigantic mothership, and you're blowing, like gun ports off of it, and obviously trying to disable the thrusters and everything, just like that was. And is this the same level right here?
Yeah, this is the same level. You're in the belly of the ship pretty much, blowing the bottom turrets off of it, and this part was infuriating. I mean, I died. I guarantee you I probably died 30 times just trying to get through there.
Well, you just die constantly in this game. I mean, it's like most shooters, you know. It's just, if you don't know what's coming up, you're going to die, pretty much, period. I mean, there's nobody that has ever just walked their way right through a shooter on their first go-through. And if you have, you're either lying or you need to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. There's Megatron.
The crazy thing about it is just in both these R-Type games, the perspective constantly changing on them. I mean, this one here, of course, is the second one, and you can see the graphical leap it made. I mean, the first one looks good for being on the PS2, and this one is just, it's stunning. I mean, but you don't hear anything about this game, and I don't understand why. I mean, for R-Type to be such a beloved franchise, I mean, this is like the creme de la creme of the series.
Oh, it's great. It's beautiful. I was not opposed to doing this game. You know, I don't want to do too many, new games. I mean, I want to do a lot of games, but I don't want to do too many of the just all PS4 or anything like that. But good Lord, R-Type's such a storied, has such a storied history. And we've already been through that. This game right here needs a little bit of, somebody needs to give it some props, because look at this. I mean, look at these graphics. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, that is one thing that we're trying to fill out with the channel, too, is we really are trying to focus on, I mean, like Metal Jesus talks about, the hidden gem games and stuff like that. So I don't really want to coin that phrase, but it's very much that kind of thing. Just the stuff that any of us can go buy. You don't have to get on the limited run kick and all that, but stuff any of us can go buy that are just killer games.
And look at this boss here. We had to speed it up for time on the video, obviously, but
yeah, this stage right here, I mean, it's just surgical. I mean, I know it looks like a disco or something like that, but I mean, it's crazy. I don't even know what it was. I just know I had to kill it.
It looked like a baked potato with some flashing eyes on it or something like that.
Right.
But yeah, man, this game, the weapons you get, you're seeing a lot of the laser, but it doesn't really do, feature or show how many of the different weapons you can get. I mean, you obviously find your favorites and find the ones that work best with the individual bosses and whatnot, but this seems like it worked pretty good for you.
Yeah, that's kind of the weird thing about it is, because like R-Type Final 2...
You didn't get that upgrade right there. I noticed that because you were liking the laser.
Yeah, the laser. For some reason, the laser just really, really lends itself to this one really good for some reason. Like Final 2 or the R-Type Final 1, it's not so much about the laser, but this one, the laser just works out great in so many of the levels.
And like we were saying, this game, it just you die over and over. I know we kind of rammed that down your throat in the intro, but look at this. I mean, it's obviously sped up because we didn't want you to have to watch a 20-minute video of the same level over and over. But I mean, I've watched him play this game. I've played it myself, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm decent at it, but like, this is what happens. You make one mistake and you're dead.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all there is to it. And I love the entire series. Like I said, I played a bunch of different versions on a bunch of different systems, but this one by far is my favorite. I mean, it's just beautiful. I just can't say enough good things about this game.
Yeah, it's definitely, and it's a cheap one too, guys. I mean, I think it's like a $30 game, if that. But you got to watch these type games. These are the type that are cheap, but they turn into little cult games that shoot up to $100 before you know it. So if this interests you, and it's getting older, and I've seen the price on it climb a little bit, so if this interests you, I would definitely snatch it up.
So back to the rating. I rate this 16 out of 16 bits. I always try to do
I'm
that.
right there with him.
So guys, we'll see you next time, and thanks for tuning in.
Take a kid fishing.